Okay.
Yes.
Now, page 10, we also have that story that we're talking about, and there's some pictures there of the two boys who were slain and boys lured into gangs that give city residents sleepless nights. This is not now just focusing on them, but looking at gangs that terrorize Nairobi. But again, of course, looking at some of the things they use, there's a gun there. I'm not sure how real or how fake it is. And I can tell you that when you're accosted by gun-wielding thugs, the last thing you want to ask is whether it's a real gun or it's fake. You really don't want to take chances.
Michael, the debate here is, it's very one-sided in a way, because when I was in campus, I did do a project on gangs in Eastleigh, and it's interesting that two of the boys that were killed were from a gang in Eastleigh. And when you go to Eastleigh, you find that they don't terrorize the residents, as many of us would think. They sort of maintain law and order there. They protect the businesses there. People pay some sort of tax, so to speak. But you also find that the residents there want it because they say that they need that protection because of the number of guns they have. So one gang would protect or, say, rule or dominate half of Eastleigh, and no other gang would come to that region. So as much as we say they terrorize, I think, and Prof would disagree with this, but society has also accepted this and encouraged it to happen in a way.
And I think it just goes back to speaking to what we said. It's a failed government, because really, whether they're protecting, why are they protecting businesses? There should be police force that does that. Where if they're protecting one gang from another, why do we have those gangs there? So really, I think bottom line, it speaks to the fact that there is a failed something somewhere that brings up these vigilante groups. I remember being in a committee in an estate where we're trying to see how to take some security measures. And one of the ideas that was being floated is literally just getting people who are going to protect that estate. But then the question is, how far does that jurisdiction go? Is it legal? How do they protect? If they kill, there's just all those kinds of questions. But bottom line is, if our police force, if our security agencies are able to take care of the normal things, that then would not need all these kind of vigilante groups, might it?
In a democratic state, the government has what we call monopoly of violence. The government is legally expected and allowed to use violence in order to maintain law and order. There is nobody else in a democratic state that is supposed to use violence of any kind to either protect or to extort. So the reason why you have gangs that are extorting and others that are protecting is because we have a general breakdown in law and order, and the government has failed to provide security, which is its basic and primary responsibility to its citizens. So what happens is, and nature abhors a vacuum. So once the government is unable to provide the security that its people needs, then people provide security for themselves using all sorts of means. If you live, Michael, in an upmarket place, then it is more organized and it is more helpful. If you live in other places, it is more vigilante, it is more extortion and counter-extortion, and the common mwananchi is never safe in either of these situations. The only way that the common mwananchi can be assured of security is if it is provided by government, which has monopoly of violence.
Absolutely.
Of course, we have that picture on the screen there from the Standard on the same issue, and a policeman there seemingly shooting in the air. And I'm not sure if he's shooting at thugs. I'm not very sure. But this is, of course, a replica of the situation that happened with this week, police officers shooting those two gang members.
Yes.